Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Illusions of Itehari, continuing Tobari's route. And if you notice any difference between the last part and this part, like volume and all that wise, that is because I finally got off my lazy fucking ass, and we have downloaded OBS, and we are using that to record our game now. Oh, you know what I just noticed? The nice giant red line is missing. Okay, like, I downloaded it last night after yesterday's fiasco. Okay, because I recorded this and I recorded our other game, and both of them I had to stop and start like 3 times. And I was like, and then at one point the music was still janky in our other game, and I was like, I don't give a fuck, you're just gonna deal with it because I can't fucking do this anymore. Okay, so after that, I was like, I could record more, but I was like, nope, fuck it. I spent an hour getting it, putting things in, making sure everything worked. And you know what? This is only my second time using it, and it is getting a little bit, listen, it's not perfect right now, just because I got to figure out our system, and I got to make sure everything, like, we got to get everything, the volume and everything set up. And I finally got it to where it's a little bit bigger. So, because the only thing I don't love is it was easier in my other recording software. Like, you had the preview, so you could see, like, oh, I can see the screen and make sure it's recording the screen and it didn't go black or something weird, right? Or, oh God, it stopped connecting and I'm reading through and yet it's on 3 pages ago, you know? But then you could always just kind of click over to a different tab and it would have a giant timer to show you how long you're recording. So me and my being old as fuck don't have to try to see like 5 feet from me where my computer is. This one is itty bitty little tiny timer at the bottom. And yeah. Also, when I was messing with it last night, I kept being like, okay, trying to record. Oh, I wasn't recording, because even though when you click the start recording, the button turns blue. I was thinking it was recording because there was a giant red, like, square around the screen, like the video screen. And I was like, okay, that's recording. No, it wasn't recording. It was just there. And now it's not there. I don't know. I was messing around with my view here, trying to get rid of like things that I don't need and be like, I just need this. I just need to be able to see the microphone, the voice, make sure the sound. And I've been trying to mess with it to make sure that you can still hear the music. I think it's fine and it's not too loud, because I felt like everything was fine, and then I played back the part I recorded in our other game, and I was like, the music sounds way fucking louder now, and I don't know what's going to happen in processing, but we will start to try to adjust, so bear with me as we get used to using something new and adjusting our sound volumes and things like that, because you know what I mean? Like, when you're using something new, you can't just be like, record with the same volume, because it's different. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, the way everything does it. So I just have to kind of look and like hope and figure it out. And then like, it is going to take a little while getting used to. But, you know, when I turned on my other recording software, when you turn it on and I plug in my thing, and then I have to keep clicking on the capture card and unplugging it and replugging it, turning the thing on and off and on and off and for 10 minutes. And this one, you're like, click, oh, look at that. Look, it's connected. It knows it's there. I only had difficulty this time when I came in to do this game today, because I had to reboot my computer, because my computer every once in a while is like, no, I won't let you type. I don't register that your keyboard's attached. And it's like, what is wrong with you? So I was like, fine, reboot the computer. And I don't know what did it then, but then it was like trying to attach my capture card as like capture card 2 instead of, and I was like, let's not do this. That's what Action used to do to me. Don't do this, OBS. So, I mean, I just kind of closed it, restarted it, and it was fine. But, you know, so that could just be my computer trying to register it as a second thing. I don't know. So, you know, but it connects fast and the thing's there and I don't have to fight with it. And then, you know, I recorded the whole other part of our game and the music never got janky motherfucking once. Because I don't have to pick the thing. I'm just like, pull it from my capture device. And it's like, Got you, fam. As opposed to action, where you're like, I can pull it from one of these 52 sources, and 7 of them are my capture device, but they're not really working well. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so from now going forward, things should not be as fucking obnoxious. But bear with me over the next week or so as I try to adjust the volumes and things and make things sound right. So, if like the rest of this week things don't, because like, I'm also ahead. Uh, well, and I'm trying to stay at least 2 weeks ahead. So, if there's things or you're like, the music is too loud, or you know what, I still can't hear it, whatever. Let me know. I'll try to adjust it and fix as we go. But this one is a little weird because the music is quiet, and I am not going to try to adjust each one individually because like that's where, like right now there's no sound. There's barely any music actually, is there? That's very quiet. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to adjust it as I go and work with a new recording software. And I don't know how it's going to when I put it in to Premiere and process it, how it's going to change. So we will see. We will adjust, but at least you won't have to deal with like the music is janky. Okay, so we're back. The music is janky. We should be fine. We should be fine. Or listening to me be like, this motherfucking recording software. We shouldn't have to deal with that anymore. We should not. It'll just be me. I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do this. But anyway, so that's my spiel for today. So, hopefully, everything works out and we know something. I know it took me too long to get here, guys. Okay, I know. I'm fucking lazy, all right? Got a lot of shit going on. And the last thing I want to do is fight and learn something new. But you know what? I did it. Because yesterday pissed me the fuck off. I have like 6 pieces that I have to put together and edit for our shit. And I'm like, that annoys me. Like, I don't want to do that. So, anyway. Continuing to Bari's route, I think we're still in chapter 4. And we're still in the abyss, obviously, so. As he told his story, we had already made it to the area around the clinic. All right, Tabari was telling us how he was born down here, and his father's probably some rich bastard noble. I hope we can find out who he is. Oh my god. What if it's what's-his-face? Sakaki? Is that it? Is that the Prime Minister? Wait, it could be. Do they have the same color hair? Wait a minute. That would be amazing. And we think Suzune's his sister. He didn't confirm that. He mentioned he has a sister. We never said anything, but the way Shioji acts like his big brother, because we know Shioji picked him up and was taking care of him when he was like 12 or 13. And then Suzune, it's like, I feel like it's a safe bet that she's his sister. So, anyway. We came to live at the entertainment district because someone was able to put me and my sister on the family registry. He was a geisha who stopped to talk to me while I was selling stuff in the entertainment district. She said that an escort who looked like me helped her once. Could she be talking about... Tabari narrowed his eyes as if to confirm my suspicion. Aww, that's sweet though. But what's kind of more adorable? An escort who looked like me helped her once. Obviously it's your mom, but it's so cute. You look like your mom. She's like, I see your mom in you. Oh, because you lost your mommy, you poor thing. Stop it. That's so adorable. Listen, my uterus is actively trying to expel itself from my body, so I'm a little more emotional right now than normal, but this is just so adorable. Can we all just cry right now? Let's all hug Tobari. He would hate it. He's like an angry cat, but you just want to hug him anyway. When she was sold to the entertainment district to become an escort, and there was a woman who told her that she was too plain looking to attract customers and recommended that she shift her focus to the arts. And the same woman invited her to dinner parties until she was good enough to make it on her own. Tamari gave a bemused smile, but his tone was gentle. Wait, did your mother just tell some woman she's too fucking ugly to be a hooker? Which button? No, okay, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Which one is that? Okay, this one. This game is a little backwards. Wait. There was a woman who told her she was too plain looking to attract customers and recommended she should... Was your mom just trying to protect her? She's like, you're a little homely. You should focus on, like, art and music instead of being a prostitute. You ain't pretty enough. Because nice, I guess. I mean, unless she was like, you're not glamorous enough to be a hooker, but you can make it amazing as a like because Tabari's mom is probably like, listen, being an escort is not fucking fun. So you should be a geisha because people will treat you with more respect, probably. Even though you come from the entertainment district. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe she was saying something that comes across as kind of mean in a nice way to try to protect this girl, you know? So we'll just pretend that she was plain looking. She didn't say she was ugly, but that's like a nice way. You're a little plain. That's a nice way of saying something bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, Tabari gave up a amused smile, but his tone was gentle. That geisha took us in. She used the money she saved up to have a noble who forced her to have a noble who favored her lend her their family registry. As he spoke, his expression softened somewhat as he reminisced about his childhood memories. So we're blackmailing nobles now? Because I'm in for that. She provided us with the conditions to get an education. Thanks to her, we both learned to read, and before I knew it, I was even tasked with leading the entertainment district. It looks like your mother's good deeds ended up saving you and your sister in the end. Though on the other hand, it was still her fault that we had to go through all that we did in the abyss. Not that I resented her for it or anything. I figured it'd be inconsiderate for an uninvolved party like me to interject, so I forced myself to stop talking. I don't think Tobari's mother is to blame in all this. No, it's your shit fucking society. With this, I felt that I understood things a little better. Now, look, if you were born in the abyss because your mother did something bad and got herself sent here, sure, you'd be like a prison baby, okay? But, like, most of the time, they don't raise the babies in prison. They take the babies away, you know? So, like, prison baby doesn't stay in prison, okay? So, like, that, but your mother was born in the abyss and has lived here because of some ancestor who, again, bullshit. Like, what the fuck, you know? So, the society's fucked, so. With this, I felt that I understood things a little better. The meaning behind the Shiranoi's ideas, and the reasoning behind his powerful emotions. Sorry for talking your ear off. No, we got to know you better and I love you more. Don't be sorry. I was happy to learn about you. Thanks. Now kiss. He looked away without saying another word. I was sure that it wasn't because he was upset. It's so funny because, like, I can hear the music a little bit better, like, myself, like, the way it is. Drama music. But, like, when it, like, do-do, and there's, like, the little piano moments, and I swear to God, when I'm talking and sometimes those little, like, notes come through, I'm like, is it janky? My brain still wants to think it's janky, even though it's not janky at all. It's just, like, because the notes start and stop, like, just the way the notes start and stop, it was the way the music would be like, you know? So, like, just the highs and lows, or when a note is stopping and a new one's starting, that, like, my brain hears that behind my speaking and is like, is it janky? See? Do you see what my recording software has done to me? But I recorded for a full fucking hour and I went janky as well. There was a point. There was a time. We had some moments where it would actually pick up and use the appropriate thing and it wasn't janky. But you never knew what you were going to get with that. And look, listen. That is not the kind of roulette I want to play. Like, I'm not in this to, like, roll the dice and be like, what are we going to do? Are we going to have a good recording day or is everything going to suck? That's not what I want. It's not what I want. I want to know what I want to sit down, turn it on and go. I don't want to be fighting with shit. I have to fight with enough shit. I don't need my recording software and everything to, like, be the thing I'm fighting with. 2026 needs to get fucked already, and I don't need it to keep getting worse, okay? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, my poor fucking car. Like, I almost killed the battery. So I took her to the grocery store today. I was like, we have to go to the grocery store because, like, the last time I tried to go up to get my mail, I was like, I'll drive my car. It wasn't that far. And, like, my poor car, I'm like, my car almost didn't start. So I turn her on today, and I'm going, and I'm like, okay, well, I have a tire pressure sensor light on because no matter, it never fails for the last, like, 4 fucking years. Okay, it's 4 fucking years. I'm not kidding because I got 4 tires. Okay. Like, all right. I get my car inspected and then I broke one of them. That was my own fault because I like smacked my tire into the curb, so I probably jangled it loose or whatever. And I was like, great, my car just got inspected because like that was me. I was stupid. Okay, fine, whatever. And I was like, all right, whatever. Every year, no fail, like I get my car inspected, everything's good, and then within a month or so, it's like, oh, tire pressure sensor light's broken. I mean, my car is going to be 17 years old. So like, hi, those are things that you expect are going to break, you got to replace. Sure. But it's like, really? Could you not have one of these break before we get inspected? So like I go and like every year, like this past year, I was like, okay, one of the tire pressure sensor lights out, so they replace it, right? Cool, I got it. Like 2 weeks later, fucking new one's out, and I'm like, you know what? What the fuck? So that I expect to be out because I'm like, this is just. I think that one's already broken before, so I don't like whatever. I don't know. We might just be like going on Russian roulette now, and it's like that one had broken. I don't know. I have no idea, but I feel like it's been. This is now the 4th year because I want to be like the place I go. I should be like, do you know how many years back it's been that my tire pressure sensor lights were broken? Like. Because, like, I feel like this should be the last one I should have to fucking replace for a while. Okay? I hope. But I'm like, why, car? Why? So that's always on. But I'm driving to the grocery store and my traction control and your, like, all those lights are on. And I'm like, so none of that is working. None of that. My traction control, all that stuff is just fucking off. And I was like, is that just because my car almost didn't fucking start? But then I'm sitting there in the grocery store parking lot, like looking it up, and it's like it could just be like if your battery was low. And I'm like looking at it, and I have a gauge that tells me what my battery's voltage is running at, and I'm like, thank God my car has all these random fucking gauges in it just to be fancy. And I'm like, well, cool, that comes in handy now. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's not running low while she's on. She's running there, and I'm like, okay, but I'm like those things are on and the button, there is a button that you can turn like those things on, and I'm pushing that and that's not turning it on or off, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And I was like, great. So I don't know if it's just like because my battery was low that my car's like, fuck you, bitch, can't get all these things back online. Or if I'm like, do I need to replace my battery? And I'm like, okay, well, car. And I'm like, please just fucking start when I come back out after getting groceries. And I will go, we'll get a new battery, whatever, right? If we have to, that's fine. Because even when I was driving up there, she wasn't driving nice. I'm like, my poor fucking car. Like, I was like, oh my God. I wanted to cry because I was like, you deserve to be in a better home. And I'm like, I would never give up my fucking car. My car and my bird are like the two things I love more than myself. Like, I would throw myself. There was a point where I was driving through crappy weather when I lived up north, and there was like a tornado going through the area, and I was at the tail end of it, and it was like, oh, hailstorms. And I was like, I'm not even going to lie. If it starts hailing, I will park on the side of the road and I will throw my body across the car. I don't care if I die. I will not deal like with rock dings in my car. I like my car more than me. Okay? I would sacrifice myself to save my car. That's not normal. It's not healthy. Okay? It's insane. But like my car is my child, so is the stupid feather child, okay? He's sitting here snuggling and petting himself on me. But like, okay, they're the two most important things in my life. That's really sad. They're my children. One has feathers and one has wheels. Okay? I love my car more than most people love their children. All right? But like, so I was like, oh my God. And then luckily it probably just was because she hasn't been driven for a while. Like, it has been a while. Like, because I started her up. Thank God she was fine on the way home. Like, all the lights went off except for the tire pressure sensor one. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, all right, I don't even care. I'm like, we will drive up to the grocery store like every week if we have to, just to drive up there and be like, I'll just run in and grab a bag of salad, just one or two things. I don't have to go up there for a ton of shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, but we got to go up more often. Also, I threw on my Persona 5 sweater. I have to tell you guys, like, whatever. This is going to be a long part. It'll be fine. But, like, I threw on my Persona 5 sweater because I was like, I don't feel like wearing anything nice or dressing up. I was like, this is the biggest, comfiest, most oversized sweater that I own. All my other ones are, like, more fitted. And I was like, no, I want something from being oversized. And as I'm putting it on, I'm like, hopefully, because the last time I wore it to the grocery store, which was, like, months ago, there was like the kid at the checkout counter, right? And I was like, and he was like talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, I've never played that game, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, you should. And we were talking about video games, whatever. And I was like, and my brain was like, what are the odds that that kid's like there again today as I'm wearing the same fucking sweater? And I'm like, nah, it'll be fine because I haven't seen that kid since then, right? I know you know where the story is going because I pull up, I go up to get check. He's like, oh, he's like, I've played that game now, and he starts talking, and I was like, oh my god, and he's like, it's funny because I played the game, and I was thinking like, I wonder if she's ever gonna come through my line again, so I could tell her that I played my game, and I was like, you know, I was putting on the sweater, and I was wondering if you were gonna be the one that checked me out today because I'm wearing the same damn sweater as the last time I saw you, and I'm like. What are the fucking odds? And I'm like, I have other clothes. I'm like, I look like a cartoon character now. I'm that old lady that goes into the grocery store and wears the same damn Persona 5 sweater. I'm like, oh my God. What are the odds? Like, it's so fucking funny. But then he's just telling me, and then I was streaming it for my friend on Discord, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like probably the strangest. I've adopted a child who works at the grocery store. I'm like, what are the fucking odds that I. And I'm like, I should have known. I should have been like, I'm going to go and it's going to be that same kid. I knew. I just knew because I picked that sweater up and I was like, what are the chances that when I go, the checkout person is the same person that when I was wearing this the last time? Because again, I've been up to the grocery store a couple times since then, and there's like other people. The one girl who told me I look like a Final Fantasy character, you know, this other like probably my age Indian lady that I've seen up there a couple times, and then there's the Persona 5 kid now. like anyway, so those are my fucking adventures. Oh my god. But I don't need my recording software to be like, but see, the music has been great. It's been perfectly fine. Guys, it was great. Anyway, sorry. I know. This is what you come here for. You're used to this shit. Anyway, we entered the clinic and were met with an extremely somber atmosphere. Doctor, I beg of you, please save him! The person leaning against the man who pleaded the doctor? Oh, come on. Tim! Ronald! Stop it. You were doing so good. People were complimenting you in the comments, and this is what we get now? You now in Tobari's, you've dropped the ball twice now. Guys, I'm not going to be mad because you've been doing great, but I'm going to need you to sit in the fucking corner for the rest of the game, okay? Just corner. Bad. Anyway, who pleaded with the doctor, seemed to be in no condition to support himself without help. He was pale as a sheet, with stick-thin arms. One glance was all it took to see that he was very ill. The man with him had similar features. I assumed they were either siblings with a large age gap or a father and son. It's the Hari disease. There are so many glossary terms in this one. Hari disease, an incurable illness that's endemic to the abyss. It causes one's lungs to harden, leading to death. The word Hari can refer to quartz or glass. Ah, that makes... Okay, see where you get it from. Dr. Shohaku grimaced as he swiftly prepared a vial and syringe. Are you going to put the man down? That seems harsh. Probably better than letting him suffer. But they don't let you do that to people. Animals, fine, but not people. Some moments after the doctor gave the injection, the man's breathing stabilized. Milady. Tabari gestured toward the entrance with his eyes. I nodded, and we left the room. That seemed really bad. I'm glad he's better now. Not really. Contrary to my relief, Tabari's expression stiffened. That was just a sedative. Even if things seem better now, his breathing's only gonna grow weaker. Really? Then... When you're at the last stage of Hari disease, there's nothing to be done about it. He may not overcome this and die before the day ends. If not today, maybe the next time he has another episode. I hesitantly prodded him about the disease, which I was entirely unfamiliar with. This Hari disease sounds really serious. Yeah, it's local to the abyss. Causes your lungs to harden, making them feel like cracked glass. Eventually it spreads to your other organs, making breathing and swallowing difficult. You lose weight and become bedridden, and when you can't breathe properly anymore, you die. There's no cure for it. I mean, to be fair, anything when you can't breathe properly anymore, you could die. So, I mean, not surprising there. As I gasped, Tabari continued in a matter-of-fact tone. About 1 in every 3 people fall victim to the disease. That's fucking crazy. Oh, and apparently it isn't contagious, so you have nothing to worry about, milady. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, they start showing symptoms around 20 years old and die in their 30s. That's awful. After some time, the patient was taken home with the help of his companion. There's nothing more I can do at this point. All that's left is for him to choose where to spend his final moments. These words he murmured with his... Oh. I thought that was Dr. Shohaku. That's just the dude. Whatever, so it's fine. The words he murmured with his back turned to us were ones I would never forget. Afterward, Soyakusa and Yashiro also returned, and we asked them about their findings. Unfortunately, they couldn't find anyone who would give them more details on the person who was buying up all the clocks. So, it's probably not Oboro? Is that what his name was? It's probably not him. But I feel like he's got more to do with this than just random dude who kidnapped me. Or they just have him showing up as random dude who kidnapped me because he's going to have a bigger part in a later route. You know what I mean? But at the very least, based on how they spoke of them, we could safely assume that he was a male. It seemed like we wouldn't be able to figure out much more than that. We would wait until dawn before returning to Itehari. Despite being ready for bed, I had yet another hard time falling asleep that night. It was no doubt because of the overwhelming amount of information I learned in such a short time period. Hearing some movement outside, I slowly peeked out my door to investigate. A hot water bottle? It was warm to the touch. That's kind of fucking adorable, because you heard a little knock. So, because we're afraid of the brazier, because we don't want, like, oh, the brazier, because we're like, oh no, it's fire, and whatever. So he got us a hot water bottle to keep us warm. Stop it, he's so adorable. Oh, we just need to hold him and pet him. It was tightly wrapped in a thin towel to prevent it from burning my skin. Could it be... Yes, it is. I hurried out of my room to see the very person who immediately came to mind. Tabari! I held out the bottle in my hands. Did you leave this at my door? Yeah. You don't like the brazier, right? Thank you, Tabari. My heart warmed from the thought of him preparing this for me. You're still not sleepy? In that case, is it okay if we chat for a bit? I don't mind. What's bothering you? From his tone of voice, he seemed genuinely concerned. His kindness warmed me to my core. Bothering me? Seems pretty serious if you don't even realize it yourself. You look like a lost kid. Really? It appeared that being with Tobari made me vulnerable enough to freely voice my feelings. I just have a lot on my mind, like the fact that I'm so helpless. Helpless? Well, like you, I don't have any parents, but despite that, I grew up without experiencing much hardship. There's an entirely different world beneath the one I live in, where the sun doesn't shine and where there's an entire population of people. But I never really gave it a second thought. I had no idea about the terrifying disease here or the fact that so many people are suffering. That isn't your fault, milady. I mean, to be fair to her, okay, she knows about that the abyss exists, but that's like us knowing prison exists. Like, yes, it's different because here people are born here and they just stuck here, again, because of shit their ancestors did. Stupid. But, like, you know that prisons exist, but do you spend a lot of time thinking about what goes on in prisons? Do you spend a lot of time thinking about the conditions or the torture or the prisoners beating each other up or, like, diseases that might be running rampant in prisons? Do you? You might be thinking about it now, but is that normally what you think about? No. You know what I mean? So, like, to be fair to her, like, most people don't think about that either. You know? You don't think, unless you're reading something about it or it's brought up in the news, you don't stop and go, you know what? I wonder about XYZ country. Just go spin a fucking globe, okay, and pick one, and go, I wonder what life is like there. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you think about that on occasion, but do you think about that for every single country that exists? No. You know what I mean? There's bound to be one that someone's going to be like, hey, this, and you're going to be like, I didn't even know that was a country. I've never even heard that word before in my life. Do you know every single country on the planet? Good for you if you do. Okay? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I used to be able to sing the states in alphabetical order, but that's about it. But you know what I mean? Like, okay, a lot we knew all the countries in the world because Yakko sang about it in Animaniacs, okay? And like, right. But unless you got that song memorized, there's probably some you're like, I did, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to remember every single thing that you ever learned in school, okay? I don't know the state capitals. But like, I don't even know the fucking capital of the state I live in. Which maybe I should, but like, why? I don't care. Do I need it to exist? No. You know what I mean? I need to know how to spell the state I live in, but I don't need to know what the capital of it is. Like, you know? So like, but do you think about a random country out there and like, I wonder exactly what their life is like and what are their hardships like and what are the people like that live there and like what is, the poorest group of people that live there, what's it like for them and what are they suffering from and what kind of illnesses do you think about that? You don't think about what your neighbor is doing half the time. So of course you're not going to think about it. So like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that doesn't make her a horrible person. It doesn't make you or any of us horrible people because you don't stop and think about every single other human being on the planet because holy shit, there's only so much you can handle, right? Like, there's only so much empathy you can have. You can't have it for everybody at every time. You know, when you hear about something bad happening, horrible earthquakes, tsunamis, whatever, then, yes, then I expect, like, that you're going to be a decent human being and care and be like, oh my God, that sounds awful. And holy shit, and not be like, okay, well, whatever, it's not me, not my problem. You know what I mean? But there's a difference. You're not worrying about some other country and being like, oh my God, I hope they're okay today. Because, like, holy shit, you'd be a saint. Okay? Like, ain't none of us saints, right? So, like, as far as she knows, the abyss is where bad people go to commit crimes. And it was like, that's it, don't talk about it. Just like the outside world, don't talk about it. So, like, if you were raised to never think or speak about it, you're not going to. You know what I mean? And, like, yes, part of this game is her breaking past all that and being like, wait, this world is fucked up. And she already kind of sorta is like cracking her little egg that she lives in because I want to go to the outside world. It sounds fun. Okay, don't tell anyone that. Right? So of course she never thought about the abyss. It's like that's where people go when they're spirited away and we don't think about it. You know? So like it's not really her fault that she was never raised to think about it or taught about it because it's something they don't want you to know. So of course you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what people don't want you to know because they don't want you to know it. So of course you're not going to know it because they're going to hide it. You know what I mean? Like, that's like being like, I can't believe my best friend had this secret and I didn't know what it was. Of course you're not going to know what their secret is. That's what a secret is. Something they're not going to tell you. Sometimes people trust you with secrets, but you know what I mean in general? Secret is something you don't tell people. So like, of course no one's going to know your secret unless you tell them. Or somebody else does, and then those people suck. But like, so like, it's nice that she's like, man, I didn't know about all this and feels bad, but it's like, girl, that ain't your fault. Yeah, you're a little naive and a little bit of a shut-in, but like, this is not your fault, and this is not because of that. This is because they didn't want you to know. So like, but she's a good little human, so of course she's going to be like, I feel bad that I didn't ask questions and break the status quo. So Rather than his usual sour expression, Tabari's eyes were kind as he spoke, and at least he's being nice to me, like, oh, you should have fucking known. He's like, no, why would you? That's just how society's set up. You saw firsthand what things were like here, and that led you to think beyond how you usually would, right? I really appreciate that about you. Tabari, ideally, I'd like everyone in Itehari to learn about us and understand that we, the people of the Abyss, actually do exist, and we shouldn't be ignored or forgotten. As he smiled bitterly, I saw a hint of weakness in his expression that seemed to disappear the next second. I know it won't be easy to change the rules and ideologies of this society, but despite that, I spent my entire life longing for the things I couldn't have here. He took a deliberate pause, as if contemplating whether he should continue. In the next second, he looked up and gave me a self-deprecating smile. You know, I wish that I could just leave everything behind and go to a place that had nothing to do with the Abyss or Itehari, like the surface, ever since I was a kid. Oh my god, are we gonna run away to the surface with fucking Tobari? Because I feel like it's too soon for that. We gotta understand what the surface is like, and we're gonna get that from Yashiro, probably. But I feel like it's too soon for surface world, you know? Because then what the fuck are we gonna do in, like, Yashiro's route? One of you guys pointed out, because, you know, telling us that Yashiro came from the surface kind of ruins a little bit. Like, kind of, like, they haven't told us in Tobari's route. I don't feel like there was a need to tell us. But, like, and I didn't notice this in Otome Kitten's guide, but, like, her complaining about Yashiro's route, basically, that it is just kind of repetitive because everything, I guess, you go through in his route is shit you've already read before. So, look, that's going to be kind of a bit of a bummer. But, like, I think that I just remembered that because it was like, well, like, if we go to the surface, what's the point of Yashiro? You know what I mean? Like, his route would be more learning more about, oh my god, the surface and a little more. But it's like, if we're going to get all of the information beforehand, then what the fuck is the truth route, too? Like, the truth, what? Yeah, no, we got it. We put all the puzzle pieces together because you told us 18 times. You know? I don't know. I feel bad for Yashiro if that's the case. We're going to hold out judgment till we get there, but, you know, I guess we're fairly warned, so. No, so we're going to be like, Tabari, we're getting married and we're going to the surface. I felt I had nothing to hide from him anymore, and released the dam holding back my true feelings. He already knows we want to go to the surface, or interested. You're the first person I've met who also wishes to go to the surface. You're the first one for me, too. Oh. Can we kiss now? Not only are you the first person I've met who longs for the surface, but you're also the first person I've shared these feelings with. His eyes, which were full of longing, dropped to his hands as he opened up to me. But, you know, I could feel my heart racing with anticipation. Sorry, hold on. Okay. And then I'm yawning in your ear. All right. Sorry. No, not for recording software or anything like that. I hear a car, there was a car alarm going off. And it wasn't coming from the front, where, like, most people park their cars. Like, out front of our houses is, like, parallel parking and, like, whatever. Most people park out there. And, like, it wasn't coming from there, it was coming from the back. And at first, I wasn't really thinking about the monstrosity, like, apartment complex that they're building out behind me. And I was just like, let me just make sure it's not my car for some reason. Like, my car's in my garage, right? But I was like, just because she's had some issues today, I was like, I don't need it to be like, for some reason, something's happening with my car and then the alarm's going off. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, the poor thing suffered enough today. So, like, no sooner do I start going downstairs, it stops. But I'm like, whatever. I peek out in the garage. I'm like, my car seems fine. Like, I don't think it was her, right? I come upstairs. I'm about to start recording again. I'm like, okay, it's just... And then the alarm's going off again. And I'm like, let me run downstairs. And I'm in the garage. I'm like, okay, it's not my car. It's probably someone at the monstrosity. Or it could be my neighbor, or his car was outside. I don't know. But it's like, okay, I just don't want to leave it and assume it's somebody else's car. You know what I mean? I would think it would be louder if it was mine, just because My bedroom's on the other wall where my TV is that we're in the room that I'm sitting in right now, and my bedroom's above my garage, so I should be able to hear it really motherfucking well from where we are. But again, poor car, poor Cherry's having little issues today. She wasn't doing the best. She's doing better, but she wasn't doing the best. So we just gotta check on her and make sure she's doing okay. Okay, she's 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 an old girl. Okay, she's gonna be 17. Jesus Christ, my car's gonna be 17. Really? Yeah, Jesus Christ, she was built in 2009. Holy fuck. Good God. Okay. Well, not till the end of the year. She just turned 16, but still, she's a little old. So she deserves a little patient, and I gotta check on her and make sure because the battery thing, and I don't want to like put poor car is for some reason, and I'm like weirder shit's happened. You know what I mean? So anyway, it was not her. She's fine. She's good. She's perfect. Well, she's not perfect, but she's okay. So anyway. Do you think the conditions on the surface might be even worse than they are in the abyss? Just like the books say, God, no, the surface is probably glorious and wonderful. I mean, it's definitely not worse than the abyss. Tabari smiled without a hint of unease. Yeah, it's possible. But no matter how difficult they may be, what I'm looking for might still be there, right? I feel the same way. I completely understand how you feel. I know that Itehari is the most prosperous place a person can live, but still, I want to go. I wanted to explore a place I had never been before. There was nothing I could do to be rid of my envy and longing. The only reason Itehari is the most prosperous place you could be is because you're rich. Okay? Like, you're a noble. So for you, yeah, maybe. But, like, for everybody else, like, what do they got to lose? Apparently in Toei, there are places with flowers blooming as far as the eye can see. Can you believe that? It's pretty hard to believe. Apart from the sanctum, the only greenery in Itehari is the distant landscapes. Can't imagine how much all those flowers would cost. They're free, Tobari! They grow naturally! Is that what you're thinking about? I was thinking of how pretty they must be. Well, I mean, it's a given that they're pretty. He pursed his lips awkwardly. It's so funny because he's like, how much it costs to do that? Free! It's nature! Nature is free! Until we destroy it. And then there ain't no nature. But, you know, for right now, nature grows free and wild in certain places. Seeing him act younger than usual was pretty cute. Did you know that Toei is supposedly floating in the middle of the ocean? And beyond the vast ocean surrounding it are a number of other foreign countries? I can't even begin to picture what the other cities of Toei look like, let alone foreign countries. All I really know is the name of the capital, Ginwon. Apparently, there are canals all throughout Ginwon, so you have to get around using small boats. So Ginwon is Venice. Got it. Okay. All throughout our discussion, he not only listened intently to me, but he even responded to me with the same level of interest. I've never experienced anything like this. I love the fact that we're bonding over our love for getting the fuck out of this hellhole. Well, not just the abyss, because the abyss is kind of like a hellhole. I mean, Itehari is nice if you're rich. For, like, her, it's nice. But it's also, like, a trap. It's a tiny, tiny little trap. And a cult. Being able to pour my heart out and share what I had kept hidden for years felt wonderful. Which was why my next words to him were, shall we go together? We're kindred spirits. Both of those are good. Like, we're kindred spirits is adorable. And, like, we're soulmates. But also, should we go together? Like, is like, they're both really good. They're both good. They're both good. We're kindred spirits. Okay. Kindred spirits. Of all the people living in Itehari, I don't think anyone else feels the way I do. That's what I always believe. So it makes me so happy to be able to talk about all this with you, Tobari. Can we have more of these talks from now on? Even after we return to Itehari? I want to learn more about you, too. Well, if that's what you wish, milady, I'm sure it'll come true. I didn't mean it that way. I was asking how you felt. At my almost childlike insistence, Tabari smiled wryly and quickly apologized. Yeah, sorry for being vague about it. Let's talk about the outside world again soon. Right. Oh, and if you ever decide to leave Itehari, let me know, okay? I'd be sad if you just left without saying a word. Despite my demands, Tobari responded to me calmly. I couldn't abandon this place. He looked determined as he gave me an unwavering smile. He can't abandon this place because he got family. Both my birth parents and my foster mom may be gone, but my sister and allies are still in Itehari. I want to be able to make some changes to Itehari so they can survive without me, no matter how small. And we're going to do that because we were going to. This is why this game needs a second one. Like, listen, I don't know if they would ever make a second, like a fan disc or a sequel or anything, because I don't. I feel like this one didn't do as well selling wise or just reception wise as some of the other ones have. Um, or maybe it's just from what I've seen and heard, like some of the reviews, like, oh my God, it looks gorgeous. And people are like, about it. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's an ness. Like, this isn't everybody's favorite or anything like that. And I feel like, to me, that somehow translated to, like, maybe thinking that the reception wasn't great. Which sometimes you're like, I'm okay about this game. And then there's, like, 52 fan discs. Like, okay, I mean, not really, but there's at least one. You know what I mean? And then there's other games where you're like, give me a fan disc. And they never do. And you're like, what is wrong with you? You know? I feel like I should be the one to determine if games get fan discs because, like, this way I would be happy and fuck everyone else. Listen, listen, listen. When I'm queen of the universe, shit's gonna be done a certain way. And you know what? Fan discs for every game. How about that? All right, cool. But whatever. But like this would almost be a good one just because of, and I feel like maybe they were like, hey, if it turns out good, we can do a second one. Yeah, sequel, fan disc, something like that. Because the way they leave Aoyuki's route open to interpretation, well, not really, but at the end, it's like, we're going to work to make it better. And it's like, okay, so we can't marry him or anything like that. But, because like, think of how many fan discs, sequels, whatever, you know, where it's like, okay, you had the game and it wrapped up nicely and it was a nice little bow. And then they're like, and then we have the next one. And then you're just like, wedding stories. You got married. This is your wedding now. And it's like, okay, we didn't need this, but like, are we going to say no about the fluff and the wedding? No, of course we're going to do it. Just don't force babies on me. Get out with that shit. Okay. But like this one, they kind of leave it open. Like, okay, yeah, we might be boning out Aoyuki and everything like that, but we're not supposed to technically be dating him. So we're like sneaking under the radar and doing something inappropriate. So, but we're trying to change the way this, like the way Itehari works. So like, I mean, I guess it really depends when you get to the end and you get the truth. This is the one that's got a truth round, right? Where, you know, and then you're like, okay, yeah, never mind. It's all a delusion and we're all in a simulation and none of us are real. Or something. You know what I mean? Then you're like, I guess not. But like, Aoyuki's route leaves it kind of where it's like, you would fit perfectly with like a fan disc where it's like, okay, and now we're gonna do some stuff and we're gonna work on some stuff and there's gonna be some, obviously, some kind of road barriers to getting them to be like, okay, yeah, no, anybody can marry whoever they want so that I can marry Aoyuki and don't have to sneak around under the sheets with him, you know? I still want to sneak around under the sheets with him, but like everybody can know I'm doing it and I don't have to keep it quiet, you know? I can scream from the rooftops, then I get to bone my butler for once, you know? So, and like this, we're going to have to keep my bone and Tobari a secret, you know? Because he's lower than Aoyuki on the totem pole of Itehari. So that kind of sucks. Because the man's gorgeous, so fuck Itehari, seriously. But like, you know what I mean? So I feel like this one like leaves it perfectly open where it's like, oh, there's plenty of like story to keep telling, you know? But I don't know if we'd ever get one. So, and there's certain other games that like probably would want one before this one. But this one at least leaves it open nicely where you're like, it makes sense that they do it instead of like, they wrap this up in a nice bow and we're just going to throw some. I mean, again, I am not opposed to here is a fan disc of random fluff scenarios. Are they pointless? Yes. Are they fun? Yes. Do we love them still? Yes. If we didn't get them, will we know any better? No. But it's nice that we have them anyway. You know what I mean? So, fair enough. Anyway. Okay, yes. So they can survive, sure. And once I do that, I'll think about myself and my own dreams. So going to the outside world will have to come after that. See, and so like that's leaving it open because you know we're not going to resolve it. It's going to be like, we are working toward this at the end of his route. It was hard to tear my eyes away from the man who faced the present head on instead of his dreams. About yesterday. And the fact that I'm not good with fire. Since he had told me his secret, I wanted to tell him the truth about me, too. I wanted to share with him my other secret, the one that was different from my desire to explore the outside world. Were you curious as to why? Yeah. I didn't want to bring the mood down too much, so I chose my words carefully and told my story with a small smile. A fire broke out at my house when I was 8. My parents died because of it. That's why I'm a little scared of fire, even now. I fought back the urge to close my eyes. If I did, I knew for sure that I'd picture the flames from that day flickering behind my eyelids. Okay, Tobari, I'm going to need a CG of you holding me and comforting me because you should probably feel a little bit bad that you're setting fires. Even though I know you didn't do it to my surf quarter and yeah, you didn't know and I'm not mad at you for it, but you feel like Tobari would be like, I feel so guilty now. And it's like, dude, you didn't know. It makes sense you'd be upset with the Shiranui for committing arson. I'm sorry for threatening you, and I'm really sorry for hurting you. Okay, no, shh, say it with your arms. I appreciate your words, though, but please say it with your arms by holding me. I didn't mean to make you apologize, but I appreciate you for hearing me out, and for apologizing, too. Along with an appreciation for his kindness came thoughts about why he decided to resort to arson in the first place. Come to think of it, I recalled Shioji's words before we went down to the abyss, and decided to ask Tobari for more details. Oh, right, Shioji being like, I don't know, Tobari seems suspicious. Is it true that you were the one who decided to target houses belonging to nobles? Yeah, it was my idea. Though I do admit that it was a half-assed decision. What do you mean by that? If we set fire to a noble's home, then the Kurozuru would have to look into it. But if a commoner's row house were to experience the same, they just push it off. Given what I had learned of Itehari thus far, I knew that his claims weren't groundless. That makes sense. Not to mention that the estates in the castle district are isolated, so the flames won't spread and allows for quick recovery. Still, there's no logic that supports the idea that all nobles should have their houses burned down. In the end, it's nothing more than an excuse. Setting fires doesn't really benefit anyone. And even though we're doing everything we can to not hurt anyone, that doesn't mean bad things don't come from it. Leads to sorrow, anger. Tobari lowered his gaze slightly. I could see his long eyelashes trembling slightly with an unspoken emotion. And to top it all off, there are now others following in our footsteps and setting even larger fires. I can't say I have no regrets, but that's exactly why I have to take responsibility and catch the perpetrator. Oh, we're going to Suyakusa. That's interesting. Why? It was only yesterday that I realized how cold the nights were in the abyss. So I took it upon myself to prepare another blanket for Spacey. But, was he going to see us talking to Tobari? When I headed toward her room, I stumbled upon Spacey deep in conversation with Tobari, with a heated water bottle in her hands. Oh my god. Stop it. This is not necessary. Game, this is unnecessary. This is mean. Because we know Suyakusa's in love with us. Okay? First of all our boyfriends are in love with us. Give me a break. But, you know what I mean. Aoyuki is not around to pine over us in this one. Okay? And Suyakusa, even in Aoyuki's right, you're like, he's pining a little. But this, now we're talking to Tobari and beaming and smiling at him, and now we have to see Suyakusa being like, she's in love with him. Come on! I don't need to be in his perspective and hurting. Oh, stop it. Again, at least Aoyuki is fucking MIA most of this time, so we don't feel bad about it. You know? I'm not like, oh no, he's probably so sad that I'm in love with someone else because he's secretly in love with me. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? They were like, no, we're just going to rip your heart out a little when we make Suyakusa feel sad and we're going to have you be in his perspective. Rude. Fucking rude. Oh my god. That guy's surprisingly thoughtful. He'd missed the opportunity to turn back before hearing anything, so I ended up standing there and eavesdropping on their conversation. It's not fair. I don't even stand a chance. Oh, stop! Oh, stop! We already knew he was in love with her. You didn't have to do that. That was so mean. The 3-day time limit Yuri gave us was up, and yet the music is like doo-doo-doo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So fucking happy. Like, hopefully you can hear it. The 3-day time limit Yuri gave us was up, and we have a happy, like, bopping along in a city going shopping music. What the fuck? Thank you for taking care of us, Dr. Shohaku. I bowed my head as I thanked him. We were able to sleep peacefully thanks to him allowing us to stay in his clinic. I better not see you lot down here again. Except you, Tobari. Come back soon. I know it'd take too long like you did this time. Fine. Tobari didn't try to hide his annoyance when he responded, but it was clear that they were simply that close with one another. It seems that Dr. Shohaku's been taking care of Tobari since he was small, so maybe he's like a father figure to him. That'd be nice if that were the case. I wanted there to be as many people as possible who cherished Tobari. Girl, she's so fucking gone. Aoyuki's like a father to us. He took care of us. And kind of like a brother and our butler. And the father thing is kind of inappropriate and gross. But being like an older brother that we bang is totally fine. Listen, there's lines. Your dad is on the wrong side of it, but your brother, absolutely on the right side. The journey home was uneventful. I can even say it was anticlimactic. It had been a long time since we had seen the sky. When we were back in Itehari, it was breathtakingly blue. But unfortunately, we didn't have the luxury of admiring the sky at our leisure. As soon as I returned home, I changed into my usual clothes and, with Aoyuki in tow, headed to the western part of the 1st Division, to the Kurozuru's command center. Oh, goody, we get to see Yuri again. This bitch! I knew he was coming, but I just wanted to scream this bitch at him. Long time no see, milady. Oh, I see he isn't with you today. I believed it would have been dangerous to bring him. True, he'd stick out like a sore thumb. As the prime suspect of the fires, bringing him here would lead to his arrest at best, or being spirited away on the spot at worst. I believed that as long as you weren't utter fools, you'd leave him behind. So it seems you aren't a complete idiots, thankfully. I appreciate it. Despite being all smiles, his choice in words was awful. His choice in words is awful. That's because Yuri is awful! I had a feeling that he was doing this on purpose. Nevertheless, Lord Yuri shot a brief glance behind me. I see Aoyuki is serving as the attendant of the Eastern Fifth. I'm quite shocked. So that's why you haven't tried to come after me and propose yet, because you didn't know Yuri was my manservant until like right now? Aoyuki, are you acquainted with Lord Yuri? Yes, he's done much for me in the past. That's a little misleading. Really? Huh. Well, let's just leave it at that. I'm not exactly fond of meaninglessly reminiscing the past. He's done much for me in the past. You mean much to you in the past? Bad things? He's done much for me, all of them bad. Fair enough. I was curious about the relationship, but I suppressed it to begin my report on her findings. I almost feel like you should do Tobari's route first. Like, the way it's panning out, because like this, and then you're like, Aoyuki and Yuri know each other? Okay. And you have no idea that Yashiro is from Ginwan or anything like that, and you're getting the background, you're getting some of that information, and then you do Aoyuki, and then it'd be like, oh my god, that's how Aoyuki and Yuri know each other, and oh, Yashiro's, you know what I mean? I just feel like right now, what I know of Tobari's route, I feel like they should have been flipped. We should have done Tobari first. You know? Maybe this one has a little more, but I mean, I guess... well, I mean, And then at the same time, Aoyuki's route, it's like, oh my god, someone's setting fires. Who is it? Well, but also, if we had done Tobari's route first, we would have met Tobari. So when he shows up in Aoyuki's route, we'd be like, oh, it's Tobari. Okay. You know what I mean? Instead of like, we had no clue it was fucking him. I wasn't sure. You know? And the only thing is, in Aoyuki's, it's like someone setting fires and you don't really know who it is, but didn't we actually kind of figure out it's the Shiranui and Tobari was the leader? So we kind of already knew that also in Aoyuki's route. So in a way... But then we went like, that's not important. What's important is Ugetsu, right? But like, again, Aoyuki's route kind of spoiled Tobari a little bit. So yeah, you know, this might be the one time I disagree with Otome Kitten's route order. Again, she's never said me wrong in the things, but I feel like these should have been flipped. I feel like doing Tobari first, because then you meet him, you find out about the fires, you've got this, you're like, how do Aoyuki and Yuri know each other? You know nothing about Yashiro, right? And then you do Aoyuki, and then it's like, no, my god, you get a little bit more between these two chuckle fucks, right? And then you learn Yashiro's from Ginwan, which I still don't think they should have told you in Aoyuki's route, but fine. And we'd already have known about Tobari and the fires, and yes, it'd be like, oh, who's setting the fires? And we'd be like, well, we know it's Tobari. Oh, wait, actually, it's Ugetsu. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, you learn a little bit more about the Abyss here, so sure, and you only kind of barely set foot in there in Aoyuki's route, but I don't feel like that's enough to where, oh, well, you know what I mean? The only thing is Tobari setting the fire, but we kind of already knew that they were doing it before we got here, right? Because I'm pretty sure they told us that too, so it's like, Aoyuki's route kind of spoils a lot of shit for what's happening in Tobari's route. Tobari seems to keep a little more mystery going on. But again, that's just right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of chapters to change it and go, okay, well, now it makes more sense. You know? So, I guess we'll see when we get to the end if my thought process changes and goes back to, okay, no, Aoyuki was better, even though these key points right now make it seem like Tobari should have been first. But anyway... I was curious about their relationship, but I suppressed it to begin my report on her findings. I told them that there was someone buying up all the clocks in the Abyss. We believed this person to be a resident of the Abyss, but everyone we spoke to refused to give us more details, because it could be Yuri, for God's sakes. I also shared with him the means as to how this man got a hold of gas, which we believed was a key ingredient in the devices used to start the fires. Although, why would Yuri get in there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy was like, yeah, I just wanted to see what would happen. Fuck the guys up there. And I feel like if a noble came rolling up and was like, yeah, I'm gonna blow up, he would be like, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean? Like how the guard was telling us, like, yeah, totally let him in because he wanted gas. And I was like, fuck those guys up in Itehari. So I don't think Yuri would be able to threaten and go in and buy the clock parts because they'd be like, whatever, rich people money, I don't give a fuck. You know? And also I'm afraid of him, so I'm not going to tell you. So that, but the guard I don't think would be like, sure, yay, let a rich noble in here and give their comeuppance to Itehari. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know if I believe Yuri is... Well, at least he's not the person that's down there doing this. Did he kind of like maybe sneak the idea into their head like he did in Ugetsu? Maybe. But again, if he didn't have any nefarious dealings here, he's just an ass that's investigating it. That's another point on why Aoyuki shouldn't have been first. Because now you're sus of him instead of being like, wow, he's a bitch. You know what I mean? You're like, he's a little bit of an asshole. And then you learn what a major asshole he is in Aoyuki's route and, you know, how he had a hand in all of that. Now you're thinking he's got a hand in it when he might not at all. And it kind of like tones him down a little, you know, instead of amping him up. So, And then in exchange for the gas, our suspect offered the onyx incense from Ginwan. Also, there's no reason for it. He might not like Tobari, but he knows he can just drag Tobari to jail or, well, spirit him away now. So, Aoyuki he wanted to destroy, so. I see. However, I can't say it's enough to absolve you of suspicion. Doesn't all this count toward the evidence you requested? Sure, but it doesn't change the fact that you'd be saving me even more trouble if you just brought the culprit here, does it? But... Oh, my poor subordinates. Thanks to the intel you've given us, they're gonna have to work all around the clock with barely any time to sleep. That's their well, okay, it's not really their job to work around the clock without having to sleep, but you do have a job, and I'm not doing it for you. Then does this mean the Kurozuru will be looking into everything we told you? Don't get the wrong idea. Your little group is still on our list of suspects. You're still suspects in our eyes, considering the circumstances, but we'll let you run free for a while longer. If you do anything that might further incriminate you before we arrest the real culprit, then you'll only invite investigation. If you want to avoid that, please refrain from any suspicious activities until you know who that as well. Understood. Thank you, Lord Yuri. I'll be sure to pass on the message. I feel like doing anything suspicious would also be going to the entertainment district and seeing Tobari, but... Got it, you know. But yet we want us to go tell Tobari, so... You know. I mean, technically, us going to the entertainment district and visiting Tobari is not exactly suspicious, but when you suspect us of burning the houses down and that Tobari is the leader of the Shiranui and he's involved, then this is suspicious. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he was probably warning the Shiranui so that they would stop setting fires for a while. Though I was certain that Tobari had already planned to lie low. By the way, what are some of the effects of the onyx incense? If anyone would know about it, I figured it'd be the Kurozuru, so I decided to ask Lord Yuri about it up front. He responded with a grin. Why would you want to know? Are you perhaps in your rebellious phase? Not at all! I'm just curious since it came up during our investigation, and I've heard that it's been causing problems in the entertainment district. Well, it's true that it's been popular among the nobility. It's been quite a pain for us in the Kurozuru as well. I can't say anything beyond that. It's still under investigation. Understood. At any rate, we might be able to catch even bigger fish thanks to you. I appreciate your help. Lord Yuri thanked us with a big smile. See, and like Yuri right now, you're like, okay, he's just a little prissy and he's not a total douchebag. So I feel like if you did this first, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he's a little snotty, doesn't like Tobari, but like, whatever, fine. And then you'd go down and do Aoyuki's and you'd be like, what a bitch! I'm not sure if that's better or worse for Yuri. I guess seeing what an absolute dumpster fire Yuri is first was really fun, though. Because, like, now he's being totally chill, and I'm still like, you are so fucking suspicious right now. This might be you at face value in this route, but I still don't fucking trust you as far as I can throw you. But I still also want to kiss you, and then slap you. And then kiss you to make it better. I love how unhinged he makes me. It's great. But it did nothing to mask the predatory look in his eyes, which made a chill run down my spine. He a predator. Anyway. All right. Well, we will stop here. And yeah, we'll continue next time. And hopefully volumes and everything like that are good. And the music didn't get janky the whole time. Like, so, look at that. Anyway, I will see you guys next time Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.